Delaware Valley's leading news program.
The city of Philadelphia is preparing to honor one of the most prominent leaders of the nonviolent movement, a movement that changed the course of this country. Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy and mission will be observed with a day of service. And today we learned this year's theme is gun violence. Action News reporter John Rollins has the story.
The music came from the Girard College Choir, the 5-panel MLK Day of Service mural from students from 5 area schools. The Day of Service this year will focus on gun violence, a deadly fact of contemporary Philadelphia, and the cause of Martin Luther King's death 50 years ago.
We chose to show Dr. Martin Luther King on the front of our panel because he is against gun violence and for a peaceful demonstration.
Organizer Todd Bernstein said one new project this service day, the construction of World Without Gun Violence dream booths like this one. Mayor Kenney among those slated to help build the frames that later will be covered with what Bernstein calls dream banners.
They are expressions of values and dreams of particularly of young people who want a world without gun violence. They will be constructed, 100 of those will be constructed on King Day.
Thousands will be volunteering that day, some 50 volunteers set for the Cambodian Association of Greater Philadelphia on South 7th. One group will repaint and freshen these walls. Temple Med students hope to set up a health clinic, while other volunteers will sweep neighborhood streets and a park.
I think just recognizing that Martin Luther King Jr. believed in that, and that his work wasn't him alone, that changing a community, impacting community, re-envisioning what a community can do is not just one person's job, it's many people doing it together.
This year's Day of Service is just 12 days from now. If you're curious about maybe volunteering, you can go to mlkdayofservice.org for more information. In South Philadelphia, John Rollins, Channel 6 Action News.
Tomorrow, the nation pauses to honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's a federal holiday to mark the birthday of the iconic civil rights leader.
We hope it's much more for you than just a day off from work and school. It is an opportunity to give back to your community. And Philadelphia is proud to host the largest MLK Day of Service event in the nation. This year's theme is a world without gun violence. Joining us this morning to talk more about this year's event is the founder and director of the Philadelphia MLK Day of Service, Todd Bernstein. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Nydia.
Dr. King became one of America's most famous victims of gun violence, and now more than 50 years after his death, volunteers will spend the day trying to create a more positive, peaceful way of life, right?
Particularly young people who are often victims. We established an organization called Push for Peace last spring with mostly Philadelphia public school students. They've been doing a number of projects. There will be an educational focus tomorrow. People, including the governor and Senator Casey and the mayor, building dream booths, which are plastic pipe structures, and more importantly, cloth panels that will be part art, part message about a world, what would a world without gun violence look like? What are the values, particularly of young people, and how do they envision peace? And these will go around to Philadelphia public schools throughout the year with a lesson plan for discussion and reflection.
And Todd, we know this is a great event every year that brings the community together, but unfortunately this year we're talking about some extremely dangerous cold temperatures. How may this, if you think it will, impact some of these projects?
Well, I looked at Dr. King, who would have overcome rain, ice, and snow, and that won't keep us either. I think things look reasonably well for the few projects that are held outdoors. That will be up to the individual project to determine whether they want to go forward. But I would just urge people to be cautious and safe in getting to their projects tomorrow, and for all that they will be doing throughout the year.
And again, so many of the projects are actually happening indoors, including your signature project of building those dream booths, right?
Yes, that's right.
And for the 8th year, you'll be hosting a job fair as well?
Dr. King was a champion of economic justice, and he said if a person doesn't have a job, he has neither the right to pursue life, liberty, or happiness. He merely exists. So tomorrow we will have 500 job seekers choosing among 30 local employers with real jobs at Girard College, and it's not too late to sign up for that or a project at mlkdayofservice.org.
Never too late. Todd Bernstein, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great event tomorrow. We know you will.
Thank you, Nidhi and Gray.
All right, thanks, Todd.
The signature event is at Girard College on the 2100 block of South College Avenue in North Philadelphia. We have posted a link on our website, 6abc.com, if you'd like to join the effort. Again, it is not too late to sign up to participate. We'll be back in a moment.
Happening today, despite the cold, a call to action to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader who would have turned 90 this past week, once asked, "What are you doing for others?" Action News reporter Jeanette Reyes is live at Girard College, where thousands will gather to answer that very question. Good morning, Jeanette.
Good morning to you, Matt. Certainly what Dr. King would have liked for people to do, and that is to serve others. And today that's happening here at Girard College. Take a live look here around me. Fortunately, we're inside. It's still a little chilly here, but it's starting to warm up. Take a look here around the room. This kind of just runs like clockwork. They've been doing this for the last 24 years. It's been here at Girard College for 10 years. But I want you to take a quick look here, just a little up higher. You can see all of those murals. That's all of the murals representing the themes that have been held here over the last 24 years. So it's kind of a snapshot at the history of this room. Now, today things kick off at 9 o'clock this morning. They're expecting thousands of people. Over 150,000 will be volunteering somehow throughout the Philadelphia area. And if we could just turn quickly, Mark, my photographer, to our left here, you can see the murals for today's theme, and that is gun violence here in Philadelphia. We know that a lot of our kids experience this firsthand, and the goal today is to shine a light upon the issue and ask the question, what are we going to do to change it?
First and foremost, I think we want to think about Dr. King and the sacrifices that he made in the pursuit of justice. And just as Dr. King was a champion of action 365 days of the year, we hope that everyone here will be inspired to turn a day of volunteering into a lifetime of service.
And speaking of inspiration, I want you to take a look at this dream booth here. It's a dream booth for gun violence, and it's asking students and kids, what would your world look like if gun violence were non-existent? And so they're asked to draw something or write something up. And again, the organizer there, Todd, is hoping that people carry this with them and act on it throughout the year, just as Dr. King did. Reporting live here at Girard College, Jeanette Reyes, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, thank you, Jeanette.
From the Fox 29 studios, this is Good Day Philadelphia.
I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivering his final speech in Washington, D.C. Hours later, he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. Today, the nation honoring the legacy of the civil rights leader with a day of service. The largest service events are happening right here in our area. Bill Anderson at Girard College in North Philly this morning with this day of service. Good morning to you, Bill.
Hey, good morning, Thomas. As you said, the largest in the country in terms of service right here in Philadelphia. You said that you wanted to see some of the artwork and some of the exhibits. I definitely will show you that. These are some of the banners that they have made over the years at the King Day of Service to represent all the different themes and messages that they've presented. This year, the theme is a world without gun violence. And it's not just about making art and expressing art, but they're actually trying to turn the art into activism. And one of those things, Todd Bernstein is back with us, are these dream booths. So explain to us what these are and what they're doing.
So young people and others will be making these structures which will hold these cloth panels, and they'll go from school to school, 100 of these booths, and mostly young people will be creating these panels which are sort of a reflection of their own ideals and principles around their experiences with gun violence, or their ideas about how to confront this situation. So there's a lesson plan that goes along with it. It'll spark discussion and reflection and hopefully ideas about how to turn their concerns into action.
In a lot of ways, young people are leading this, but if I look at the different programs, we're going to move back so that they can see the booth. As we're looking at the different structures and things, it will be young people kind of leading it, but different elected officials, problem solvers, the police commissioner. Is that so that their voices continue to be heard?
Absolutely. I think it really represents in many ways, Billy, that this is an issue that takes, the harnessing of all the resources that we have. Young people, elected officials, the private sector, communities of faith, nonprofits. So we'll have the governor, we'll have Mayor Kenney and Senator Casey. We'll have the new lieutenant governor, who's a very interesting guy who has an AmeriCorps background, the police commissioner, the school superintendent, young people, Elton Brand, the general manager of the Sixers, a whole lot of people coming together because this is a problem that can't be solved by any one sector. It's really got to be all of our concern and all of our effort.
Guys, they have about 1,800 service projects going on throughout the area. We're going to walk you through many of them. Todd, organizing this, has been doing it for years. Their point is not to just display the message, but then to mobilize people to continue acting and continue Dr. King's legacy. We showed you the Dream Booth, but we will show you so much more throughout the morning as we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King.
Uniting so many this morning. 5:09. Bill, thank you. We'll see you again in just a moment.
Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Philadelphia, this is CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day and a day of service across the nation and here in our area.
Eyewitness News reporter Dan Koob shows us a busy start at today's signature event in the city at Girard College.
Thousands of volunteers spent their Monday living Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision at Girard College.
How many people have been here for the first time? How many people is this their first time here? Well, we want you to come back many, many, many times.
Mayor Jim Kenney, Senator Bob Casey, and Governor Tom Wolf among the many attending the Global Citizen event, part of the largest MLK service effort in the United States.
I want to raise them in a household where volunteering is just something that's totally normal for them, that they don't even think twice about doing. It's just natural.
This is the 10th consecutive year the event has been held at Girard College. The theme of this year's discussion, a candid conversation about gun violence in Philadelphia.
I just wanted to be able to support families that was going through the same thing that I've been through as far as losing loved ones to gun violence.
Therese McCleary, founder of Moms Bounded by Grief, lost her 21-year-old daughter, Tamara. She's seeking solutions to end the violence among the city's youth.
And it still gives us hope. As cruel as today's world is, it still gives us a little bit of hope.
The day also served as a chance for not only seasoned volunteers, but first-timers.
Just to give back to the community, man. Learn about what's going on and remember your history so you can be a better person moving forward.
Dan Koob, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Here in our area and around the country today, folks are honoring the legacy of Dr. King by giving back to their communities. As the saying goes, it's a day on, not a day off. North Philadelphia's Girard College is home to the biggest MLK Day of Service event across the entire country, and that's where NBC 10's Miguel Martinez Valle is live for us this morning. Miguel.
Yeah, so some 150,000 people across our area are volunteering today, right? 5,000 of them here at Girard College throughout the day. So you can see some of what the volunteers were up to right here. There's a clothing drive, so they're collecting clothes. Where are you guys sending this? Where's this clothing going to?
This is going to the refugees.
The refugees. And how much clothing do you think you guys collected today? You have any ideas?
A lot. So we have 25 bags.
25 bags. So that's one of 100 service projects that are happening in this area right now. Let's take a look. There's, other than service projects, there's also activities. So you can see some kids here. They are putting together these banners. Now, the theme of today's Service Day, Day of Service, is a world without gun violence. And that's really been the focus. Elected officials have been speaking out against it. Community leaders, organizers, they've all been talking about how to reduce the gun violence on our streets in the Philadelphia area. And so that's what these banners are supposed to focus on. Words like hope, peace, love. That's what we're seeing out here today. And that's really the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy that's happening. I was speaking to someone earlier. I asked them why they volunteered. Here's what they had to say.
never know how you're going to impact someone's day. So always being there and, showing someone like some comfort and some sympathy is like kind of what keeps me like going and trying to give back.
So it's been really impressive to see so many people because this is obviously open to the community. People downstairs are taking advantage of career drives and of a career fair and a health fair. And up here, people are volunteering, giving back, and also participating in these events. So that's what we've been living all morning here at Girard College. I'll send it back to you. I'm Miguel Martinez-Valle, NBC 10 News.
All right, thanks for that, Miguel.
In the meantime, today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which honors the life and legacy of that great civil rights activist. All across America, people marked the day by helping out each other. Action News reporter Jeanette Reyes was in North Philadelphia, where more than 150,000 people took part in a day of service.
For the 24th year, thousands of people from all around the region gathered for the annual Martin Luther King Day of Service at Girard College. Governor Tom Wolf, Mayor Jim Kenney, and Senator Bob Casey were all in attendance.
Let's rededicate our lives to the kinds of things that Dr. King lived and died for.
We want to think about Dr. King and the sacrifices that he made in the pursuit of justice.
The purpose of the event is to honor Dr. King's legacy with projects that serve the community. The overarching theme this year was gun violence and how to create a world without it. Therese McClary's daughter, Tamara, was shot to death. She was 21 years old.
Since we all have been affected by gun violence, we partnered up with March for Our Lives Philadelphia.
Just in this gymnasium alone, there were over 125 activities and over 5,000 volunteers. Projects varied from flowers for the homebound.
He definitely wanted everyone to be happy, like together, and not have anyone be excluded.
To dancing. To cool rocks of kindness to give to strangers.
Today we're really excited because we're making our kindness rocks and we're asking people to come over and color a rock and then bring it back to their community.
There were teddy bears for children affected by domestic violence and baskets with toiletries for the homeless.
We're just here today to give back like we do all year long.
And although this is the largest event of its kind in the country, the organizer says that he hopes the dedication and passion of Philadelphians will continue throughout the year and they'll find a way to serve their community each and every day, just as Dr. King would have wanted. Reporting from Girard College, Jeanette Reyes, Channel 6 Action News.